After the absolute thrashing Brandon Smith put on the field last time out at Bristol, the 1UP Turbo Truck Series playoffs heads out to the Irish Hills of Michigan for race number 2 of the Turbo Truck playoffs in 2024, race number 15 overall, and what better place to go for a race than at Michigan International Speedway, where you'll see these trucks go 4 and 5 wide, intense racing action throughout the whole field. Every lane of the track gets to be used, and I would be very surprised if we see one driver lead every lap like we saw last time out at Bristol. And alongside me to bring you all the action once again is Ryan Griffin, as per usual. After what Brandon Smith did at Bristol, though, is he the championship favorite now, or do you still look at that 22, considering both start in the top 10 today?
Well, Brandon Smith definitely put his neon sign up in the air last week, coming out and starting the playoffs as you would want anybody to start the playoffs. You come out and basically pitch a perfect game, so to say. So it's like going out in the World Series and pitching a perfect game in the first game. So you fired your warning shot. You made your neon sign known that, hey, if you're going to win this title, you're going to have to go through me. This week, though, is more about who's going to be the next one to fire off that warning sign. Is somebody else going to do that, or is Smith? Can he back it up and go 2 for 2 and make a further case that he is the title favorite? Now, I said going into the playoffs, I thought that Curtis was going to be the man. You know, what we've seen him do in the regular season, and he had obviously a top 10 run last week at Bristol. But this is where now we're into the next race. If you struggled last week, this is where you need to put the effort forth. You need to run well here and still continue to make a case, hey, we're going to have a shot to win this. You know, we're going to tell you we're going to be the team to beat, so to say. And I expect Curtis to come out firing on all 7 cylinders. And after the win last week, I'm sure that 15 team is amped. It would not surprise me if they have another decent showing here, especially starting 4th today.
Absolutely, and with all 10 of our playoff hopefuls starting in the top 20, I expect a lot of action to come over the next 40 laps here at Michigan. As we can now bring you to starting lineup now, Paul Villalobos gets his first career pole at Michigan, and he lines up alongside Braden Varga, going for the effort of becoming the first driver to win in all 3 series in 1UP competition. He starts that effort from row 1 on the outside. In second position, Alex Sanvertel and the aforementioned Brandon Smith line up 3rd and 4th, with Audrey Ansack completing the top 5. And considering that the furthest back of our playoff challengers is Angel Gutierrez in 17th, this is going to be a really tight battle between those 10 guys. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if we saw a different driver, and not one of our playoff drivers, spoil the show here at Michigan, because we expect a lot of lead changes today and a lot of passing in the lower positions as well. So I would not be surprised at all if we saw that happen either.
Yeah, it's like Michigan is the complete opposite of Bristol. Bristol last week, there was really just one groove. You're going to run the bottom of the racetrack. You just follow the leader, and if you can try to make the outside work to get around somebody in lap traffic, you do it that way. Here, pick a lane. Middle, top, bottom. You can run just about anywhere on this racetrack, and that's why we see the fantastic 3 and 4 wide. So somebody like Gutierrez that start deep the field, starting 17th, it's not a detriment to be starting there, whereas Bristol, starting 17th, it may have been a little more difficult to try to get to the front. Here, you can get to the front from 17th. So it'll be interesting to see who can get through the shuffle, who can make their way forward early, and maybe be the dominant truck. We'll find out.
Absolutely. So with that being said, we have 42 drivers ready to stake their claim at Michigan. We're ready to bring you that action now. It's the 1UP Turbo Truck Series playoffs from Michigan, and the green flag is getting ready to get this great race underway. You're not going to want to miss a second of the action set to unfold over the next 40 laps. Villalobos and Varga, 2 Vs on the front row, both looking for their first win in the Truck Series. The green flag is in the air, and it looks like that inside line is going to get a big launch off the initial jump. Villalobos bringing Alex Sanvertel with him in that 43. As further back, they start to fan out 3 wide immediately on the opening.
Yeah, immediately they're going to fan out, and they're going to try to take a game wherever they can get. As we see, looks like Brandon Smith made the move there on... I believe that's Varga there was on the outside there at the start with it. Varga is really the one that kind of fell off there at the start, as the 66 will lead him into 3. We'll see who gets the gain here through turn 3. Look at Anzac at the 3 truck. Had a nice top 10, top 5 start. I think we started 6. But he's going to be the one to lead the first lap.
Yep, Audrey Anzac leads the opening lap at Bristol from 5th starting position. Excellent start for the 3 driver who missed the playoffs, of course, as did her teammates, but still a solid start to this race. As we'll look at this field, 3 wide, several rows deep down the back straightaway, as San Vital and Villalobos continue to battle side by side for second, right behind.
Yeah, I said it the pre-race. They'll spread out and run just about anywhere on this racetrack, and we pretty much have seen it here on the drop of the green, running top, middle, and bottom, as they continue to be 3 wide and almost 4 wide back there, as everybody trying to see everything they can get. Again, this is when your truck is going to be the freshest. You get the freshest tires, you get the freshest machine, or freshest piece. You're going to try to see what you can gain as quickly as you gain until you start to fall off. So everybody trying to make that early race push and see what they can get.
Meanwhile, we're looking at David Wells briefly in the 92. He pushed his way past his teammate DJ Curtis. Now he's diving to the inside 3 wide on Brandon Smith and Braden Varga in the 0. This is going to be a big moment for that 92 driver as he tries to fight his way up to 4th place. He's going to try and he's past the 15, trying to pass the 0 as well. And now Villalobos pulls out a line going into turn 1. He wants the lead.
You mean he wants to lead back because he lost it to the 3 truck there at the start. Now he's trying to see if he can drive back around the 3 and retake that point. But right now, Anzac getting help from the 43 has jumped in the mix now, and there's Varga there in 4th. Again, we saw some shuffling there. We'll see if there's any more here, at least in the early part of the race. But you're starting to see now, who's got the good trucks that can seem to work their way through traffic and who was maybe more or less geared toward qualifying as opposed to a race setup. So it's just kind of neat to see this. Again, it's fun to see the racing here, and drivers love racing here because you pretty much can run anywhere on the track. And man, these guys are taking advantage of that, at least here early.
Look at San Vital going all the way up the racetrack. They're almost 4 wide. Wells backs out of it. Very wise decision from the 92. Now he pushes the 43 down the back straightaway as we complete lap number 5. Audrey Anzac has led them all, but she has not gotten away from this pack one bit. They're starting to fan out 3 wide once again. They're starting to bunch up together. This could be troublesome early on in the race.
Remember what we said the pre-race about the 72 of Gutierrez starting 17th? Well, that's him down on the apron of the track trying to make it almost 5 wide down the front.
They are 5 wide going into turn 1. This is going to be treacherous. Gutierrez tucks it right down to the inside, trying to stay out of harm's way. But they're still going to be 4 wide coming off of turn 2. They're banging doors off of 2. He hooks Gutierrez. They're into the wall.
Oh.
Big wreck off of turn 2, and it might collect a lot more than you think because look at all the trucks piling in.
Smith is in it.
Oh, I think. Oh, we got one upside
Somebody
down.
went over.
Yeah, that was the 38, Linda Vaughn, who tipped upside down. We've got at least 20 cars involved in this one to bring out our first caution of the race here on lap number 6.
And again, the 5 wide, there's room enough to run 5 wide, but at some point that 5 wide is going to funnel back together. And I don't know if it looked like maybe it was Wells that got upset between the 43 and Varga, and it was the one that kind of sent Varga down into Gutierrez. So, I mean, we'll get another look at it here in a replay, but man, talk about having the big one. You wouldn't think of having the big one here at Michigan, but
And talk about a big one. I only counted about 4 or 5 trucks that made it out of that without damage, so this could really upset the tides for this race and this championship hunt, because of those cars that made it through, the only one I saw that didn't have damage was the 66, who's now leading.
And again, that kind of the benefit being the pole sitter, he was the pole sitter, kind of already up front to start with, and they may have kept him out of that mayhem we just saw.
And you see about half the field pitting here, a lot of them with damage repair to diagnose, including that of our points leader, DJ Curtis. Entered today with a 3-point lead over Brandon Smith. Now he has a lot of damage to contend with, as look at all these damaged vehicles entering the pit lane.
But the thing that's going to help Curtis, too, is Curtis and... Well, you just mentioned him. Brandon Smith was involved in that. We saw him spinning on the back.
All of our playoff drivers were, aside from the 66 of Villalobos.
But again, the questions are going to come down to who's got the worst amount of damage. Obviously, the 66 is the one sitting high and pretty right now because they don't have to worry about any damage, but we got to look and see what playoff, who's hurt, who isn't, and who can make a recovery here. You know, it's not a complete loss yet, but we'll have to see who's actually going to be in dire straits after this afternoon.
A big wreck at Michigan to kick off the day. We'll get you a replay of it really soon. So you see, they were going 5 wide and through 1 and 2, and I think you're right, the 92 gets a little out of shape between San Vitale and Varga. That bumps the 0 down into the 72, and look at the carnage that unfolds. That count of 20 trucks might have been a bit modest. I count at least 30 involved in this one.
And attaboy to the 43 team, too. I think the 43 I'm sorry if I mispronounced. I'll just say Alex, but the 43, I mean, he got shot out of that, and I don't know if I don't think he went back in front of the field. He was able to correct it and drive straight. He may have some damage from it, but man, and again, it was just a matter of, it looked like, we'll get another look at it here, but it looked like the 92 just got pinballed between the two trucks there, and he just kind of got squeezed, and it looked like he tried to get out of it, but just in front of Chastain here.
View. Look at this. Look how close it was between those three.
Yeah, they just started bouncing off each other, and that last little bounce between the 92 and the 0 got the 0 out of shape, and that's what put him into Gutierrez, and everybody else just has nowhere to go.
This may be our biggest wreck in 1-Up history as far as car count is concerned, because there were only about 6 trucks that made it out of this with no damage. Everybody else is going to be wounded in some way, shape, or form after this, and at least 8 trucks, now I can confirm, out of the race as a result of this impact. Thankfully, our playoff drivers will be able to continue, but the only one without any real concerns of damage is that 66 out front.
And you see, now this is an opportunity now for the 66 team. Again, you don't want to see get an advantage that way as to your competition, but this is an opportunity now. You know your competition, some of them are going to be damaged and may not be as fast now. So now you have a real opportunity here to make a big point gain. So you can't waste the opportunity now.
And I think you were right about that 43 maybe having a little damage, because they're coming into the pits now, and we're hearing word they may have torn a line on that truck trying to avoid the even more damage. So they're going to go down pit road to assess and see if they can't patch that line and get them back out there. My concern for this 43 is the lights just went out on the pace vehicle. We're going to go racing next time by, so this repair job better be quick.
The crews trained for this. It's like there's a reason why they keep a quote-unquote crash cart right there on the pit box, just in case something like this happens. So it's got parts, it's got tools. It usually speeds up the repair process. So I see a couple of these trucks, that did get damage are still on the track. We saw Brandon Smith is the last one in line at the moment. But again, we'll have to see once they get up to speed here who's actually truly in bad shape versus who isn't. As we got one on the apron here.
Yeah, that's Mike White, who's driving the 27 this week. Normally he's in the 38. He got a ride with BTB Motorsports, and they're reporting a mechanical issue on that 27. His day might be over. But we're going to have probably about 33 trucks still going, and there is San Vitale. He is exiting the pits now, but he better get a move on because the pace truck's about to pull off.
I guess you could say kind of the benefit here is that he can get up to speed before the field, even comes to the green here. So he'll get a little bit of a distance between himself and the leaders. The bad part is he's got to try to make up the gap to the field. So,
but I think they did fix his damage, so he might be okay after this. But green flag back in the air. We're underway once again on lap number 11 after a massive crash that eliminated at least 9 trucks. But we still got a lot of racing to go. Got about 30 laps remaining, and Villalobos is the first one in the turn 1. And Anzac making a move once again to try and take the lead on the opening jump.
I'm telling you, this 3 truck, at least through the first 11 laps of this event, this 3 truck might be the best truck, I think, right now. And clearly we've seen that as she's been able to get around the 66 more than once here for the lead. This is the second time she's actually passed the 66 for the lead. So evidently they've got a good truck today.
but not good enough to hold off this 5 truck of Josh Gibson making a move for the lead with a push from Jacob Miller. That is, I believe, going to be Gibson's first laps led of the season, and he's done a fantastic job. He started 19th today, and he's already fought his way to the lead.
There's another one I'm seeing in shot here. Again, unfortunately, he was not able to make the playoffs. But keep an eye on that green 16 of Cal Farrell, too. That's another one that tends to be strong in races like this. So I'd keep an eye on him. He could be a factor before the day is out.
And considering all the cars that have been involved in accidents in that accident, who knows how many contenders we'll have. So count them on your hands, basically, because we only have about 9 trucks in this breakaway pack. But it's Gibson who leads over Miller in second. Then you got to go back to Audrey in third, Villalobos, then Cal Farrell, then the 2 Farenco entries of Sessom and Romashko. They're running 6th and 7th. Then Samantha Jade, Andrew Lyons, Nate Champion. That's your top 10. And other than that group, I think there are only 2 other trucks in real fighting shape, that being Braden Varga and Kyler Sustrad.
And Vargas actually is lucky that they didn't get more damage considering where he was and all that. So we'll have to see if it plays out for them and see if they can get back up here.
Because look, at everybody else is starting to lose touch with the leaders. They're already about 2.5 seconds back, and I fear that gap will grow. It is growing. Santi Messi is starting to fight his way through. He's up to 13th, but Francois Chastain and especially Logan Jones, DJ Curtis especially, they're losing touch with this lead group, and I worry that might continue for the rest of the day, considering the damage they have on their vehicles.
Well, we'll have to see. Again, as much as you want to have good days and days where you run well and days like obviously what Brandon Smith had last race out of Bristol, you're going to have days where you're caught up in something like this, caught up in somebody else's incident. You got to try to make the most of it. And we've seen it this year out of guys and what they've been able to do this year. So it sucks that they're not going to be competitive. It sucks that they're not going to fight for the win, possibly. But you got to still make the best of what the day you have ahead of you is and try to get as many points through as you can, because who knows, when we get to that last race, the fact that you race for 1 or 2 positions could mean the difference between winning a title and facing the year knowing you came up that just that short. So we'll just have to wait and see what these guys can do to recover the day. And obviously, the 66 team is the team that's sitting in the good boat right now. They got the biggest gain right now, being where they're at. So, with that team, they're just trying to make sure they finish this thing and finish it in one piece. Although if they have a chance to go for the win, I'm sure they're going to go for the win.
Which would be his first in one-up competition for Paul Villalobos. But you're right, for the rest of these guys, they're on damage limitation mode for the rest of the day. Just gather as many points as they can, pick off as many slow trucks as possible, finish as high up as you can, try and gain the points on your rivals, because you're not going to gain points on the 66, but you can try and gain points on the rest, and that could certainly play dividends for the rest of the season when we get to Homestead, because who knows what the points margin will be when we get to South Florida for the last race.
The other thing is that wreck happened on 10 laps into this race. We still have 30, in this case now 23 laps left in this race. We still have more than half this race to go. So if something later in this race happens to the 66, well, there's your opportunity back. Now you can gain back to him. So you never know. That's why you just keep fighting until you see the checkered flag.
Never give up is the main strategy for these guys out there now at Michigan. The field might be a bit depleted. We're not seeing the 3 and 4 wide racing we saw at the beginning, but we're still seeing some excellent battles through the top 10 as Audrey Ansack gets past Villalobos, and now Samantha Jade going to try and follow the 66 through. I believe Jade started this race down in 20th, so that 25 having a strong run and is actually the highest placed of the New England Cruisers trio at the moment.
Yeah, and we talk about opportunities. Well, this is an opportunity now for these guys that didn't make the playoffs. The number one goal, obviously, when the season starts is to make the playoffs. You want to fight for a championship. But if you don't make that mark, if you're not able to make the playoffs, the next best thing is you want to go out and you want to win a race. Well, here's an opportunity for guys that are not playoff drivers. Here's an opportunity to possibly win a race. And we noticed in the top, as we said, of the front runners, only the 66 is one of those guys in the playoffs. So this is an opportunity for a lot of these guys that didn't make the playoffs. Hey, let's go show these guys. Let's go win a race and build some momentum going into next year.
And meanwhile, we've been keeping an eye on Alex Sanfitao. He's picked off a couple of the back markers, trying to make his way back through the field, as Villalobos now tries to take the lead back from Josh Gibson, and he does at the line put the 66 back on point in this race. But we still got half the race to go. We're going to take the halfway lap this time, in fact. And don't forget, we still have a pit stop to make as well.
Yeah, we have a pit stop to make, and who knows if we see anything else. Granted, with the depleted field now, we probably won't see something happen as a result of 4 and 5 wide, but that doesn't mean that something can't happen that could turn this race upside down again. So we'll have to see how it all plays out here. As again, we continue to see. I'm telling you, the 66 and the 3 are probably the two best trucks right now, because again, they've been able to fight to the front. They've been able to battle each other for the lead. And yeah, I mean, you mentioned it earlier, that 25 truck may be the new player on the horizon here that's jumping into this. So we'll see who can get to the point, and can anybody actually maintain it like this 66 and 3 have done.
Meanwhile, a little further back, you see the rest of the top 10 running just a little bit off the pace. But then back here, Brandon Smith's fought his way back up to the top 15. DJ Curtis is running now with his teammate, David Wells, and for the home team, Finguy Saitomi Motorsports, I'm sure they would have loved for this day to go a little smoother. Both their trucks got caught up in that big accident, but they're currently hanging out just inside the top 20 as they run, which for DJ Curtis is great damage limitation to keep as much of a lead as he can in the standings, and for David Wells as well, because considered the 92 is in the owner's hunt for the championship as well.
And also, I'll do a caveat here. I would not put that deal on what happened there on the back straightaway on Wells. Wells was forced in a position, and they all came together. And it's just the product of this racing when you're running 3 and 4 wide is you only have that small margin of room, and they just ran out of room. And he unfortunately was the one caught where he bounced off just a little bit off of one, and then caught the other, and then. It's like pinballs almost. They just start pinballing off each other, and it's on from there. And it's unfortunate to see Finguy's team and to see that they came in. Obviously this being their home race. Hell, this is my home track, and the added pressure. There is a little bit of added pressure that you put on yourself because you want to win on your home track, whether it's a team or driver. You want to win on your home track and do well for your hometown fans, but. So some days just don't go your way, and it's just a matter of you got to take the good with the bad sometimes. And I still think Curtis is going to be a title favorite. It's still a threat for the title the rest of this year, and I'm sure they're going to have a bounce back race. They usually do. So, hell, this may just motivate the 22 team even more to go out there and maybe win the next race out. So.
And you do remember how close that 22 team came to winning last year at Talladega, so I would expect they'd be bringing probably bringing the same truck that they raced last year at the 2.66 miles in Talladega last year. But they've got a lot of work to do, and I would not be surprised to see them fight their way back. But now, looking back at the front of the field, here's another new player in an amidst this 8 truck of Santi Messi. In this 8, he's running right behind one of his teammates and right in front of the other. All 3 Team Duke trucks in the top 10, fighting with that 25 to try and push their way up the order and maybe settle this race between their teammates.
Yeah, they're trying to help each other to see if we can get up there. As we got a couple coming to pit road. I see that's Cameron Lassard. I'm not sure who came behind him, but
yeah, and Francois Chastain came in as well. Those are 2 of our playoff contenders in the pits, and you saw Jojen Stoyan was the other one coming down pit road. And here's the first of the leaders to make their green flag pit stop, and it is Santi Messi in this 8 truck. Whoa, that was close between Varga and Sestrai. Man, that could have been bad.
I thought they were going for that inside pit wall. I mean, they were in that angle. I mean, it looks like just from the brief shot we got there that it was just a matter of, I think one was probably inside the other, and they the one inside washed up to the one on the outside, or the one outside started to come down a little bit. They got together and they almost, good job to both of them to hang on to their trucks though.
And meanwhile, we got some more takers on the pit road. This time it's Villalobos, it's Gibson, it's Jade. Audrey Anzac stays out a lap, as does Jacob Miller. We see more trucks on pit road. This is the cycle we knew was coming. And my question is, how much is that 8 truck going to gain on the rest of the field when you consider he pitted a lap earlier and tire fall off here is about 2 seconds?
Well, we'll see. Again, when you have a race that has tire fall off, the faster, the quicker you can get to the new tires, it's usually going to get you a gain. So we'll just see how much of a gain they get out of this. Is wait for the rest of the leaders here to hit pit road.
And here they come. So Audrey Anzac pits and a few others come in. That's Messi. He already pit. But Brandon Smith, he's going to stay out on the racetrack. And why not, honestly? He needs all the points he can get. Why not pick one up for leading a lap here?
Yeah, and he is going to get it that time by. So, again, opportunity presented itself. Let's go ahead and get the, we're nursing a damaged truck. We know we can't actually run up there with the leaders. Let's see if we can stay out here an extra lap and get a bonus point.
And the thing about these two is, for Smith and for his teammate Browning back there, they pit under that caution. They have about 7 or 8 more laps of fuel on board than those guys who hadn't pit at all. I think they're going to try and go a little longer and build a tire offset to those who just pit.
Well, it's twofold. You build a tire offset, but the other thing you're trying to do here is, what if you catch a caution?
And trap
what
the
if
field
you catch a caution and trap some guys either a lap down or off the lead lap and make a gain? At this point, you're not going to win following the leaders, or you're not going to be able to do anything following the leaders because you're damaged. So why not try something different? Try something different. Do something different. If you play it out and you finish better than where you're running, then it's a gain. So why not try something different? Although we can see the tire difference here.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
Already pit.
I was just about to say they're losing about 3 seconds a lap to those guys who just pit recently, and you can see now that 3 trucks stayed out: Smith, Browning, and Alex Sanvital, of course. And you can just see the difference. That 84, who's normally a back marker, passing the 15 with ease. So it's just a matter of time, I feel, before this strategy catches up to them. And Sanvital is getting swarmed back there. But this is the fight for the lead once those 3 pit. It'll be Santi Messi and Villalobos.
I was going to say, yeah. Well, actually, from looking at this, I think the 66 is going to get the 8 even before they cycled the lead. So, yeah, the 8 gained a lot of track position by pulling, stopping early, but I don't think anything's stopping that 66 at this point. I honestly think that 66 might be the best truck here.
And wouldn't it be something for Paul Villalobos? He's fighting with his teammate Gutierrez for not only a championship, but also for a promotion to the Nitro National Series next year. Miles Mashburn, the team owner, has contemplated putting either of those drivers in one of his Nitro National cars. Could a win today by Paul Villalobos seal the fate of the Venezuelan driver? Well, we're going to find out, because we have 10 laps to go. It's going to be very interesting to see.
And the other thing to keep in mind too is Paul's kind of been in the shadow of Gutierrez here as of recently. So I think he needs to do something to put himself ahead of Angel, and this is probably the best way. And this is the way he could do it if he can get out of here, maybe with a victory, his first in the series. Yeah, would definitely go a long way forward to comparing the two drivers.
And don't forget,
especially when Gutierrez has a win.
And don't forget, Villalobos is also slated to run the Nitro National race tomorrow. So that'll be his first opportunity in one of those vehicles. So good opportunity for him to prove his worth. And you said it, he did get past the 8 truck down there, trying to establish himself in the lead. But here is your leader at the moment, Justin Browning. He's the only one who has not yet pit for us in this race. And you can see there's Gutierrez and his other teammate Stanley Andrews in the 6th this week. They are just trying to stay out of the way, because that 72 is just one of the few. And there's Curtis trying to go by. There's Andrews going by on the outside. This 9's got to be thinking about pitting soon.
Oh, absolutely. But again, just a contrarian strategy. They know they're not gonna They know they weren't going to beat those other guys doing what they did, so they do something different.
Yep, and we'll see if Browning commits to a pit stop this time by, or if he goes another lap. I think he's coming in. Yeah, he is. So that's the end of that for Justin Browning, although he did get a point for leading those laps, which is good for him. But this is going to be the battle for the lead when we cycle it through. It will be Paul Villalobos and Santi Messi battling for the win here at Michigan. And they've got about a 2-second lead over everyone else.
It's only going to be a handful of laps to go here. It'll be 7 to go when the leaders come to the line this time. So only a couple of laps, and we see the gap. It's about maybe 2-3 truck lengths between the 66 and the 8. And again, the 8 up here on a little... He got his tires a little earlier than the 66. So I still think the 66 truck is just the best truck today. So we'll see if Messi can do anything with him.
And Josh Gibson's a further 2.5 seconds back, so I really think it might be between these two for the victory here today. We're coming to 6 laps to go. Paul Villalobos, like you said, trying to step out of the shadow of Angel Gutierrez, and then of course everyone who's won in that 6 truck this year. 3 drivers have won in that 6 truck this season. Come to think of it, it might even be 4 at this rate. Either way, the illustrious list of teammates this guy has is plentiful, and he's looking to outshine all of them here today.
And also for Chevrolet, the manufacturer, this is the backyard of the auto manufacturers here in Michigan, and Chevrolet right now holding down the top 2 spots.
And 3 of the top 4 with Anzac back there.
So the folks at GM are in the GM hospitality area are loving this, at least for the truck race here, and obviously, we're going to have two other races here this weekend for the manufacturers, and I'm sure the manufacturer game it's fun when you come to Michigan. Again, as the hometown guy, it's fun to watch the manufacturers and the gamesmanship that goes on here this weekend. And
yeah, speaking of gamesmanship, we've got lap traffic to deal with, and this could really throw a wrench into Paul Villalobos' plans, because these guys are about 2 seconds slower a lap than the 66. This could bring Messi right back to his bumper.
This is what Messi needs, though. Again, we said there's the tire difference, and he got his tires sooner. But I think that difference also allowed the 66 to catch the 8. Now here's the 8's got an opportunity with the 66 catching this lap traffic. He's got to make the most of this opportunity. He's made it to his bumper. Well, he's got 4 laps to try to do something now.
And there's only 4 laps to go. They have cleared that group of lap traffic, and you got to keep in mind as well, for Villalobos, he is not known as a Speedway guy. But wouldn't it be something if he gets his first win on a track like this at Michigan? Far different than anything he grew up racing on. We're coming to 3 laps to go, and he's starting to drop the 8 again. This could be a big day for the 66.
I'll tell you what, if it's for your first win, it doesn't matter what the track is. It's you win there, that's all you're going to remember it for, is that's where you got your first win. But I don't think this 8's done yet. He's got a great run there off through 3 and 4. He's going to have a look here in 1 and 2, and he may actually pass him here coming off of turn 2.
And here he comes. That is Santi Messi diving down the inside on Paul Villalobos. We're coming to 2 laps to go, and you got to keep in mind as well, if these two keep battling side by side, Josh Gibson is right here, Audrey Anzac is right here. This could be more than just these two battling for the win as we come to 2 to go.
I was just gonna say, because I saw the 5 coming into shot. Watch for the 5 and the 3, and here they are. They're going to be here. So we're going to have maybe a 4-truck fight here with 2 to go, and we may get the 25 and the 83 are starting to close up on these guys too. So this field is very quickly here tightened back together.
Oh, and look at this. We got 4 of them under a blanket for the win now. And here comes Jaden Miller trying to make it 6 as Messi clears Villalobos for the lead. We're coming to the white flag. We've got a few more lap trucks to deal with. This is the finish everybody came here to see. Messi to the lead. Villalobos starting to fade a little bit. Could his challenge be fading already? But now we're coming to the white flag. He's fighting back as best he can on the top. This is still anyone's race at this point.
We'll see the white flag. The 8 truck of Messi will take the white flag as a leader. Will he take the checkered as the leader? I don't know, as we're going to catch this lap traffic. The 66 with a run into 1. He's going to be on his bumper. I don't know if he's going to be able to do anything, though. He doesn't really have a lane.
Oh, but he washes up a little bit. Oh, and he's getting stuck behind his fourth teammate, Cameron Lassard, who's going to lap down.
But he might actually use the double zero, though. I think he's to the outside of the 8.
Yeah, but I think he's too slow to keep up. This might hurt the 66. Here comes Anzac. This could be a battle among teammates for the win as we come to the checkered flag.
Yeah, I think the 3's got the run up the inside. I think it's going to be Anzac that's going to get this.
It's going to be a drag race to the start-finish line. Messi and Anzac side by side at the stripe, and it's going to be...
give it to the 3, I think.
Anzac
Yeah,
at the
3 got
line.
it.
Wow, our closest margin in 1UP Racing history goes to Audrey Anzac for her first career win in the 1UP Turbo Truck Series. That is certainly a come-from-behind victory for this 3 truck, but this, like you said, she was one of the fastest all day, so not really a surprise when you think about it that way.
She was one of the fastest. I think the surprise is how she got there at the end of this, and how about... I called the Superstar race at Daytona a couple of weeks ago, and we had the close finish there. I think we just topped it here.
We did, by a single thousandth we did. And how about that? Audrey Anzac becomes the 3rd Team Duke driver to get a victory this season. That's all 3, none of which made the playoffs. So how about that for the Team Duke organization? And Santi Messi, you gotta feel, comes up 2 1,000ths of a second short of that second career win for him, but he's got to be thrilled with the run he put on, beating Villalobos, who hangs on to 3rd at the end, but that you gotta feel for him as well. He had this win up until he didn't.
I think, honestly, with the turning point here was, I think, when the 66, when Paul and Messi caught the lap cars, I think it slowed both them down. And then they obviously started racing each other, and that slowed them further down, and that's when everybody else can't come into the fight.
Yeah, how about that? Honestly, a great way to end a race at Michigan that we honestly weren't sure how it was going to go because of that massive crash at the start. But those that were left treated us to an incredible show here at Michigan. And if you thought this was entertaining, well, just wait until you see where we're going next. Like I said, it is Talladega next week.
Like I say, we had a big one today and a photo finish at this track, and we very well could see that next race out at Talladega as well.
Absolutely, and I would not be surprised because these guys have put on an excellent show for these Michigan fans. I'm sure they'll do the same down in Alabama as well. But that is going to do it for us from Michigan, from Ryan Griffin, and from myself as well. We say goodbye from the Michigan International Speedway. A fantastic race. Might have been tampered a bit by that 35-car crash at the start, but congratulations regardless to Audrey Anzac in that 3, who pulled a come-from-behind victory today. From 3rd to 1st in the final lap, she shades her teammate by 2 1,000ths of a second, the closest finish in 1UP Racing history.